environment. You know, they are obviously playing a team that was very experienced in this tournament. Even though it's ARUBA's first game at this event, they've been on the big stage before. They've been to Williamsport. They know what this event is like. Their coaches know kind of how to manage the pitching, and they know how to navigate the game. This is going to be a really, really interesting matchup.
So we saw several pitchers for South Korea in yesterday's game. Seo-ha Kim will begin on the mound as ARUBA, the away team, has the bats in their hands first. And Ryan Feliciano, the shortstop, gets things started. Then their pitcher, Anthony Santos Garcia, also due up Diliano Robin. So continuous batting order. Again, everyone will hit for this team. And for ARUBA, they have 13 batters in their lineup. Mentioned Seo-ha Kim, the pitcher. Favorite thing about playing Little League, hitting home runs, striking out batters. Couple of home runs for South Korea yesterday, 4 strikeouts for the South Korean pitching staff yesterday. So Kim's got a chance to do a little bit of both in this game. First pitch struck by Feliciano. And out of play foul, we're underway.
Yeah, typically swinging at the first pitch of the game lets you know that this team is not intimidated by the moment.
Kim, a slow, deliberate wind.
And the winner of this game does get a day off tomorrow, so I would expect them to be a little bit more aggressive with their pitching, allow them to go a little bit deeper. Yeah, I was just going to say, really important for ARUBA to try to make South Korea earn their way on base. We saw how aggressive they could be stealing bases yesterday. Just a 4-seam fastball, releases a little bit early, gets away from them. Great job by South Korean batter, turn his head away. We saw a couple pitches kind of up and in. We talked about the bat kind of being exposed. You don't want to have a foul ball when the ball's coming in. Really good job getting the bat down, turning his back. On base, I would expect South Korea to be super aggressive running the bases.
First pitch swinging, little dribbler to shortstop, flipped up to second. It can't be squeezed, so everybody's safe. They're at first and second. So Feliciano starts the double play attempt there, and Robin just couldn't squeeze it for the first of potentially 2 outs.
Yeah, second baseman right there just tried to go a little quick. He knew that they potentially had a double play. The speed of the ball from up here didn't feel like they were going to have a chance to turn 2. In that situation, you got to make sure you get 1 out at second base. If you're able to get the second out at first base, that's a bonus.
Now it's Seo-ha Kim, the pitcher, looking to help his own cause, swinging away and fouling it away.
Yeah, early test for ARUBA. I know this team's been battle tested before, playing in Williamsport, a lot of the same kids coming back. New tournament, new environment. We've seen what South Korea is able to do in this tournament already. Big situation here in the first inning.
1-1. And Kim brushed off of the plate, 2 balls, 1 strike. Nice pitch, grabs the outside corner to make it 2-2.
Yeah, really good adjustment, not only by the pitcher but the catcher too. You're missing a ton of times to the arm side, meaning close to the right-handed batter. The catcher set up down and away, is able to get the pitcher to get extended coming down the mound. Really well executed pitch.
Time called for by Kim, and it's granted at the batter's box. So we'll reset with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. A little bit of dancing by Cho out there at second base, and a close take outside brings the count full. The 3-2. And it's a strikeout for the first away.
That's a big-time pitch right there. We talked about missing up and into the righty, getting that arm side down and away strike. Really good adjustment by the pitcher right there, and a much-needed out here in the first inning.
Now it's Hyunjin Kim, the catcher, who homered yesterday for South Korea.
Not only did we see him homer, we saw him have some really good at-bats. We saw him foul off like 5, 6, 7 consecutive pitches. He had a runner at first base that just continually tried to steal during that time as well.
There goes the runner Cho from second, and it's popped out, foul ground and out of play. So there he goes again, making his teammate retreat back to the base they took off from.
Yeah, there's something about when Kim's batting that his teammates just want to run. Maybe they know he's got incredible hand-eye coordination, bat-to-ball skills. They feel confident that he's going to put a ball in play.
And we saw South Korea do this all day yesterday. Now you're forcing Aruba's defense to think about it and consider other elements on the field other than Kim's bat, which is a big one.
Yeah, even if you don't run, which he did run on the first pitch, but him being out there just being a threat to steal, maybe keeping the shortstop or second baseman a little bit closer, getting the pitcher's attention, it makes it even more difficult to defend your position, but it also makes it harder for a pitcher to consistently throw strikes.
Kim lays off. He's got 3-1, or 2-1, excuse me.
You can see right there the quickness that he is. He's trying to keep the runner at second base. He's not allowing him to get into a high kind of late kick. He's rushing his delivery a little bit, which is causing the ball to miss up in the zone.
Big cut at it, and once again it's fouled out of play. So now 2 strikes on Kim, and as you've alluded to, he thrived in this situation yesterday. Leaves it up and in. A bounce of a throw on the money to get Cho's trying to steal third. Isaac Arenz with a little hand cannon from behind the plate.
I think we're going to get a challenge here, but regardless, really good job with the adjustment right there. Setting up away, having to go across his body. Sometimes the one hop is the best way to get the ball there. Keeps the ball down. I think he's out. That was a really nice job by the catcher behind home plate. Very important too to kind of set the tone early that your catcher is able to throw some runners out, because we saw Australia's lack of being able to control the run game, and we saw South Korea really take advantage of it.
So this is going to shortly be under review. The call on the field is out at third base. And as we get another look at this, Kevin, how about we give some kudos to the third baseman, Liam Peña Caraballo. And it's a full count. Ball 4. So after Kim did not throw a ball in the first inning, he walks Arenz as Aruba's first base runner of the day.
Yeah, really good at bat right there. There were some close pitches right there. I love watching these young athletes compete. As they get a little bit deeper in the count, you could just see this attention to detail. The focus comes out. And that was just really, really good back-to-back takes right there. Allows Aruba to get their first base runner.
Caden Frazier scoots out of the way. 1-0 the count to the first baseman. Quick throw over to first, but Arenz, the runner, back on sort of a half dive. Contacted on the ground. This goes to short. Weird hop off the lip of the grass, and the throw gets away. Arends from first all the way to third, and they're at the corners for ARUBA with one away.
Yeah, what started out as a pretty routine play towards the shortstop ended up taking a really bad hop right here off the lip of the grass. I don't know if the ball came off the bat a little funny, maybe off the end of the bat, but it had some interesting spin to it, which forced the shortstop to have to make a really difficult play right here. Great hustle down the line by the base runner, forcing an errant throw. ARUBA's got first and third, one out with a chance to get on the score. You could see kind of through that rip that he had a what looked like a pretty significant kind of what we would call a raspberry or strawberry from sliding into the bases right there.
Okay. So Young and Cho will exit. And again, hopefully that's all
I know that wasn't the ideal pitch he wanted to throw in that situation, but considering the situation with the base open at first base, you know, ARUBA in their first real scoring opportunity, it's not a bad idea to see if the hitter's going to go up there and expand the zone, you know, try to just put the bat on the ball right there. Infield stays in, bases loaded. They had a forced play at home. Just got to get back to throwing strikes. We talked about in a tournament like this, at this age, it's really important just to continue to throw strikes, allow your defense to play behind you.
Infield still in as Zaylen Dryshore watches strike one. Big spot for Zaydog, as they call him.
The Zaydog. Big spot for the Zaydog. Bases loaded, one out, infield in. Just got to get a good pitch. You try to get the ball in the air to the outfield.
One ball, one strike. Close miss.
Yeah, we've seen many of these pitches being really close.
Line drive into left field, right to a man. It's caught by Choi. And he's able to get it in quickly so that the base runners stay put.
Yeah, we mentioned Zaydog needed to get a good pitch right there, get the ball into the air to the outfield. He did exactly what he needed to do right there. The base runner at third base got a little bit aggressive. He saw that line drive. You could see how his initial break was to go home. As a base runner at third base, when the ball is hitting the air, even if it's going to be a home run, even if you know the ball is going to get down, your first step has to be back towards the base in order to tag up right there.
So now, a little equipment swap. A new mitt for Hyunjin Kim, the catcher.
Yeah, this is something you see quite often at the catching position because they're just continuously catching pitches right in the pocket. You see that pocket get a little loose, some of the strings potentially break. More than likely, the catcher always comes out to the dugout with a second glove because it takes a little bit of time to fix those things.
Healthy cut at it. And an 0-1 count, 2 away, bases loaded. Single, half-hearted. He comes around for strike 2.
Yeah, he had a really important defensive inning in left field, not only keeping the runner at first base on a ball that was hit down the left field line that looked like a sure double. Then he comes back and throws a runner out at third base.
And he goes down swinging for the first strikeout of the day for Kim.
Yeah, we saw him pitch yesterday. His just ability to throw that fastball at the top of the zone, just at the hitter's eyes. It's a tough pitch for a hitter to lay off.
It was a short outing for Kim yesterday through 13 pitches. And given that I assume they want to keep him in the game both for his bat and his acumen behind the plate, it might be another relatively quick outing here.
Yeah, considering those pitcher to catcher rule, catcher to pitcher rule, I would imagine he's just the guy to try to get out of this inning, and I would expect South Korea to have a different guy start the inning on the mound.
Zion Gomez-Perez with a 3-0 count. And looks at the first strike.
San Diego Padre fan. I wonder if that has a lot to do with Xander Bogaerts being from Aruba.
Yeah. And that's ball 4 taken. You know, we saw a Fernando Tatis Jr. listed as a favorite player for multiple players on this Aruba team. So maybe they're all Padres fans.
Yeah, when you think Aruba baseball, you think Carousel, Aruba, you know, Ozzie Albies with the Atlanta Braves, you got Xander Bogaerts with the Padres, and you got Kenley Jensen, who's now closing games for the Detroit Tigers. So I would imagine a lot of these favorite teams or favorite players are probably going to come from those 3 teams.
Big swing at it. Strikeouts. 2 runners caught stealing, and then 1 thrown out on the base paths on a ball batted in play, but it was not the batter on that play.
Yeah, we mentioned it last inning through 2 innings. It's been a really exciting game. There's been only 1 hit in the game. There's been so much action. The fact that a batter has not actually been recorded out running down the line is a very interesting thing for the South Korean team. But we saw him yesterday. We expect them to be super aggressive on the base pass, and that's what they've done today.
Close take on the outside, and Choi walks to lead off for South Korea.
You feel like at some point you have some decisions to make. If you're the South Korean manager, you don't want to necessarily lose the identity of your team, but you've had multiple base runners thrown out stealing. You've had another base runner thrown out trying to advance on a ball hit to the outfield. At some point, do you allow your offense to swing the bat, trust that you can, you know, score runs that way, or do you kind of just stay with the identity that you have and just continue to be, you know, borderline reckless on the base pass?
First pitch is a strike. So an 0-1 to Seung-Hoo Kim, who tries to get a bunt down.
And then here's the other way that South Korean play baseball too. You could also play the small ball game. You get a guy on. We had seen him steal, getting the guys into scoring position. Now we're seeing kind of a different strategy, trying to sacrifice bunt, trying to advance that guy into scoring position.
Saw it a lot, especially with the bottom of the order for South Korea in their win yesterday. Runner takes off, pitch misses, low and away, and the throw not quite in time for Lorenz that time. Choi steals second.
Yeah, sometimes you ask questions, you get answers immediately. South Korea stays aggressive. Great pitch to run on as a base stealer right there. But this Aruban catcher has shown his ability to throw strikes down to second base. That's just a tough pitch to throw. That slider kind of down and away.
Foul tip, strike 3, and that's the first away. So effectively there, batter's out. Runner moves from first to second. It's as if you got a sacrifice bunt down.
Yeah, ideally in that situation, leadoff guy on, no outs. You want to end that at bat with a runner at second base.
Ji-Hoon Shin watches strike 1. First base playing in, Caden Frazier. Couple of feet inside the infield grass, just in case Shin thinks to bunt here.
Which, as you mentioned, as the South Korean team got a little bit lower down in that continuous batting order, we saw their ability to, at the very least, show bunt. So we see Aruba's first baseman playing in just in case he decides to bunt.
Strike on the outer half. And now it's 1-2 to Ji-Hoon Shin, the 11th batter in the order for South Korea. They are batting 12 today.
And ARUBA's batting 13. I think that's the first lineup we've seen with 13.
Yeah. Breaking ball rolls away from Aurelio. Choi takes third and then home to score the first run of the game.
Ball gets away from the catcher, and it actually doesn't get too far. And you can't blame him for making the throw. He's been really dialed in with his throws today. But sometimes that's a very difficult play to go back, try to throw a runner out at third base right there. But once again, we've seen South Korea stay aggressive. And even though you get thrown out early in a game, if you continue to stay aggressive and you force the other team to make plays, eventually a mistake may happen, and South Korea is able to capitalize right there for the first run of the game.
Meanwhile, a full count to the batter, Shin now. And a miss high. Ball 4. Second walk of the inning for South Korea.
Easier said than done as a pitcher, but we talk about at this age, at this tournament, eliminating free passes, especially to a team like South Korea that is going to steal bases at a high clip. You got to continue to throw strikes. You got to keep your defense involved.
Bunt shown, pulled away as it's ball 1. And yeah, I mean, if you're ARUBA and Isaac Arenz behind the plate specifically, you throw out the first 2 base stealers of the day. That's great. If you give them more and more opportunities.
At this point, some of these rules are in place. You get some days off in between, but none of that really matters unless you win today. So you could see that clearly they feel like this pitcher on the mound gives them the best opportunity to win a game.
He's dealt with traffic in all 3 innings, Anthony Santos Garcia. Now a full count, misses high, ball 4. Runner had taken off, but gets second anyway on the walk. This inning has been a huge factor in Santos Garcia's pitch count getting up there. That was number 26 of the bottom of the 3rd here.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of pitches in the inning right here. A lot of 3-ball counts, a lot of pitches fought off by the South Korean team.
And how about this Kang-Min Kim showing bunt there? So top of the order as well. At least showing a desire to bunt. And he watches strike 1.
Yeah, I think at this point of the game, with his command not being pinpoint as he's gotten a little bit deeper in the game and his pitch count getting up, I think especially these guys at the top of the order showing bunt is their way of saying we're going to take till we get a strike.
Yeah. There's a nice pitch on the outside edge to make it 1-2 to Kim. Of what would have been a bloop single in shallow center field to lead off the game. Takes low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike from Hyunjin Kim, who remains on the mound for South Korea. Well struck, but right to shortstop on a run. Young-in Cho snags it for out number 1. That's a couple of good defensive plays on well-struck balls by Feliciano.
Yeah, it's a really nice swing. It's exactly what you want to do as a hitter. Square the ball up, hit a line drive to the middle of the field. Unfortunately, great play by the shortstop. That's the 2nd time. He could very easily be 2 for 2 on the day. Instead, he's sitting in the dugout thinking, what else do I got to do to get a hit?
Big breaking ball offered at, but Santos Garcia can't connect. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
especially in that situation. Your first at bat, you kind of hit a soft fly ball to center field. The guy comes in, dives, and makes a play. Then you go the other route. You hit a ball right center, line drive up the middle, shortstop makes a play. Now you're sitting in the dugout. What else do I got to do? I tried the soft way. I tried the hard way.
Quick 0-2, and Kim sails it high. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Anthony Santos Garcia, who has pitched a pretty good game. He's dealt with traffic in all 3 innings for Aruba, and South Korea just got their first run in the last side.
Yeah, considering the lineup he's going against, he's pitched extremely well. He's had traffic on. His catchers bailed him out a couple of times. His left fielders helped him out a ton, but he's been in the zone enough. He's kept his defense on their toes. He's been able to make big pitches when he's needed to make them.
2-2 from Kim. Close take, and the count is full. So 19 pitches now for Kim, who pitched yesterday, so he wouldn't be eligible to pitch tomorrow anyway. And that's ball 4. So
yeah,
maybe you take
the
that.
Rules with the back-to-back, I think the bigger question is, do they want him to go back and catch? So there's multiple factors that a coach has to kind of factor into all these decisions.
That's a good point. In a vacuum as a pitcher, maybe you let it ride to that 35 threshold because the day of rest would be factored in if South Korea was to win this game, but it looks like they're going to pull him at 20 pitches exactly. Game at 1 run apiece in the bottom of the 4th. Anthony Santos Garcia exits as the pitcher for Aruba, and he's done a great job of keeping his team in this game.
Yeah, he had a lot of traffic on, but he had to make big pitches when he needed. There's a fastball for a strikeout, a great curveball, getting a guy looking, another curveball looking, and then once again, that kind of changeup right there, getting a guy out in front. Really, really good job keeping his team in this game. We've seen how dangerous South Korea could be. The fact he's given up 1 run into the 4th inning, really nice job.
Jaderick Waiter-4 is the new pitcher and gets a first pitch strike on Hyunjin Kim. One of the more dangerous bats in this South Korea lineup. Struck out his first time up after working to count full. Runner goes. It's a called strike to Kim. And now he's got a man in scoring position as So-Ha Kim steals second.
Yeah, once again, really nice job by the catcher. Quick release, strong, accurate throw. Just a tough pitch to throw any base runner out. The off-speed pitch takes a little bit longer to get there.
Chopped over to second base, backhanded a stab, and the play made by Robin. Kim advances the runner from second to third, though, with 1 away.
This is exactly what you want to see when you bring in a relief pitcher. Just continue to throw strikes, pound the zone, keep your defense engaged. Great job by the guy on the mound.
Infield is in for Jihan Lee's plate appearance here. And he squares a bunt right down the first base line, runs it out, and brings in a run.
This beautiful play is really set up by the batter before. His ability to hit the ball to the right side of the infield to advance that runner to third, and just a well-executed squeeze play right there. Really good job by the base runner seeing the ball down, and just a tremendous, pretty much unguardable bunt by the batter right there.
That was laid down by Lee, a hitter who socked one over the fence yesterday, too. Doing a little bit of everything for South Korea as he takes off for second and dives head first with the stolen base.
Yeah, it's what makes the South Korean team so dangerous in a tournament like this. The same guy who hits a ball 320 feet over the fence yesterday is the same guy willing to get a perfectly executed bunt down and then is able to steal second base on the very next pitch.
Min-Soo Kim, meanwhile, is 1 for 1. Singled his first time up and has a 1-1 count. Called strike, makes it 1-2. Waiter 4. Line drive into center field. Second hit of the day for Kim, and it brings in another run. He takes off for second on the throw home and sneaks under the tag.
South Korea staying really aggressive on the base pass, leads to another run. Steal a third, and the beautifully placed ball right up the middle. Does a really good job staying on this curveball down and away. Shoots a line drive up the middle. Center fielder really doesn't have a play at home considering the runner was in action on the play. Delivers a strike home, but since the runner was in action, his throw home allows that runner to get to second base. South Korea has another runner in scoring position.
Now a 2-run lead for South Korea. Seung-Hyun Moon thought about bunting, stumbled out of the way, but it was a called strike on the inner half. Leaves it as the runner takes off for third. Aren's throw got there in time. The runner overran the bag and tried to recover and get back. So Min-Soo Kim is ruled out, caught stealing.
Yeah, not the best lead or jump right there, but he gets really fortunate at the very beginning. The throw beats him by a ton. The third baseman is unable to catch the ball, but does a really good job recovering, laying the tag on him. Once again, we see South Korea just stay super aggressive right there. Sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not going to work. But that's just kind of their style of play. I feel like for as much good as comes out of them being very aggressive, sometimes you're going to run into outs. You're going to get thrown out stealing, but it's allowed them to score 3 runs in this game.
2-2 the count. And Moon takes it below the zone, full count. We talked about it earlier. If you do it enough, it becomes just a sheer volumes thing where you mentioned earlier, around about 30% is what the best major league catchers throw out. You get 10 base runners, you send all 10 of them. Theoretically, 7 of them are going to advance. Full count pitch. Off the handle, weak dribbler down the third base side. Moon runs it out for a single. And he's ruled out. So he made a turn to advance and then retreated to the orange bag, which after he runs through it initially is not the valid base.
Yeah, I think the orange base is the base that they want these base runners to run down the line and touch, so there's no kind of interference with the first baseman there. But after he runs through the base, he has to return to the white base. He didn't even make an attempt to go to second base. He just kind of hustled back, but mistakenly went back to that orange base. But really good job by the third baseman. This was going to be a near impossible play. He had to charge, come in, make a really good throw, but due to the speed of the runner, he was safe. But really heads up by the first baseman of ARUBA, really knowing the rules right there.
So this is being deliberated to some degree. I think it might come into play, as you mentioned, the base runner or the batter runner, Moon, did not turn.
Yeah, he made no attempt once he went down the line. You were entitled to run as far as you want down the line after you touch first base, as long as you don't make any sort of attempt, and that could be as simple as a head movement, a shoulder turn, a step towards second base. Once you've done that, you've now given up your right to freely run down the base. You now are pretty much in no man's land. You have to get back to first base or advance to second base. He didn't make an attempt there. I believe he just ran back to the wrong base. He went down the line. He hustled back to the base. He went back to what they consider the safety base right there.
Yeah. Now, I wonder if there was a bit of urgency in the sprint back to the bag, and I wonder if that maybe...
What a tremendous swing right there. And great slide into second base. Didn't necessarily need to slide, but when you're on a baseball field, it's hard to want to come home with a clean jersey. Really good job being aggressive right there. That looks like a little off-speed pitch that backs up. He thinks he might have hit this ball over the fence, hits it off the bottom of the wall for a nice lead-off double.
First extra base hit for either side in this game. It's been all small ball up to this point. So Frazier's got his sliding mitt after the leadoff double. Needs it right away to dive back to the bag. Heady move, getting the timeout at home plate for the batter Liam Pena Caraballo. Worked the count full and walked his first time up in the second. Another pickoff at second.
That's the first time we've seen that, and that's also a great way to kind of keep the base runner from getting super aggressive leads. We've seen a lot of attempts from second to third. We haven't seen a lot of pick attempts.
Kim goes to the plate and misses inside. Inside corner, makes it 1-1. Kim steps off the backside of the rubber there. And now has a chance to reset. Getting up there with the pitch count, now 45 for the game. Pitch out. Hyunjin Kim sails it into center field, but Frazier had already taken a dive to get back to the bag at second, so no chance to advance. Noticeably slower approach by Kim now. And again, no pitch.
Yeah, this is the most pitches we've seen him. He threw only right around 20 yesterday. He's a little bit deeper, maybe a little bit more fatigued. He's being a little bit more methodical with his pitches. He's making sure he keeps his runner close at second base as well.
3 balls and 1 strike. Hitters count with a runner in scoring position. And a wave and a miss. Now 3-2.
Really good fastball right there. You can see that four-seam grip. Really getting his fingers on top of that baseball, allowing that ball to spin true, get some good carry into the zone.
Fouled away. Liam here's seen a number of pitches. 6-pitch walk his first time up. This will be pitch number 7 of this plate appearance. Ends at second after that leadoff double.
Yeah, second time coming up with runners in scoring position. Just a really nice four-seam fastball right at the bottom of the zone, outside part of the plate. Tough pitch for a batter to try to foul off, even swing the bat at.
Swinging miss, bounces back to the backstop. So finally, Frazier able to move from second and get 70 feet away from scoring.
We had a little inadvertent contact at third base on that wild pitch. Base runner came over. Looked like he got a little knee into the side of the South Korean third baseman. I hope he's okay.
Herman takes low. Struck out on 3 pitches his first time up.
With the runner at second base with no outs, you just see really the importance of trying to advance that runner to third base, because in games like this, we do see wild pitches, and his ability to be at third base when that wild pitch happens is another way to score a run for ARUBA.
Cho 1-2. Close take. And now it's 2-2.
Looked like both the pitcher and catcher really wanted that pitch to be a strike.
Another chance at it for Young-in Cho. Trying to keep that runner stranded at third base. 2-2. Ripped right back up the middle. RBI single for Herman.
Throws your timing off as a hitter.
There it is again, hovering before coming down with that full step.
Yeah, you see this. This takes tremendous athleticism and balance right there. He goes up, holds it right there. As a hitter, you don't really have anything to go off of. You're kind of just waiting to see when he delivers. It's a really difficult thing. The fact that he does it not on every pitch, but he does it enough, allows him to still have really good command with his pitches. If it's something maybe he did every 10th pitch, it would be hard to repeat. But the fact that he's kind of mixing between kind of this hover and this traditional kind of windup allows him to be accurate pitching both styles.
2-1, a swipe at it and a miss by Choi, who has a 2-2. Eventful plate appearance his last time up. He walked on 6 pitches, stole second, stole third, and then came across to score.
Yeah, this is definitely a guy that you want to keep off the base pass. You got to do everything in your power right now as a pitcher. Even if it's throwing it right down the middle, you got to force him to put the ball in play, because we've seen how dangerous he is when he gets on, gets free passes. He creates a lot of havoc on the base pass.
Can't connect with a full count, and it's strike 3.
Yeah, really good job. Once again, you don't got to be too fine in this situation. 3-2, aim for a really big part over the plate, force the batter to put it in play. That's exactly what he does. For this ARUBA team, too, you're in this game. You just got to continue to try to keep South Korea off the bases as much as possible. Make them earn their way on base. No free passes. We've seen what happens when the South Korean, especially at this bottom of the order, They get on, they play small ball, they show bunt, they run the bases. Really got to do your best to keep them off the bases right now.
Seung-Hoo Kim leaves it up and inside to the tune of a 2-0 count. Fastball for a called strike. The hitch that time, and it's bunted quickly and run out for an infield single.
That's one way to counter kind of that deception and the windup right there. You, in your mind, you kind of already have it made up in your mind. You're going to lay down a bunt. Just a really nice bunt. And once again, you don't have to be too perfect with your bunt. A lot of times we see players try to put it right on that chalk line. The element of surprise is what allows a bunt to be very successful. We saw the bunt up the first base line too. If you put the bunt in a right place, and it doesn't have to be right on the chalk line, if you get it towards the chalk line on the grass, far enough away from the catcher, it's really hard to defend.
Pickoff attempt, and Kim back to the bag after the bunt single with 2 away. Second plate appearance for Ji-Hoon Shin. Another try at it. Kim safe at first. A high toss back to the pitcher there. Got to be careful.
Yeah, we saw this earlier. We talked about the ability for a base runner to run through the base and not make an attempt, but as you see, the first baseman heads up, knows the rules, but we saw the adjustment not only by the South Korean player, but the first base coach reminding him, you cannot go back to that safety base. You actually have to go to the base that's on the field.
That's a good catch. That was obviously an adjustment made by South Korea after they had a player called out for returning to the orange bag.
And you could understand how that can be a little bit confusing for a young athlete too. And they've implemented the safety rule because it's a tough thing to ask these guys to run down the line, to have a first baseman, these throws that sometimes go a little bit wide. They've implemented the safety base. You run through the base, your normal instinct just has you kind of returning in that same path that you went down the line, which would take you to the orange base. I didn't love to see that. I know it's in the rule book. The umpire made the right call, but it feels like it wasn't an advantage gained, but takes an extra step right before the pick goes. So you could tell he's really wanting to get out there. And then on his way back, there is a little bit of indecisiveness. Should I go back standing? Should I diving? And that's really why this is a close play at first base.
We haven't even gotten an unofficial ruling from the sign guys. And the call is overturned right as we had some indecision. I saw 2 safes and 1 out initially by the sign guys.
It answered my question. So I think they had 2 safes and 1 out. So I think they still got it right.
We're going to give them benefit of the doubt there. Yeah, there we go. 2. No, oh, wait.
Last second.
We had 2 safes and an out, and then 2 outs and a safe because of some wishy-washy behavior in the middle there. Some waffling.
And these are quote-unquote professionals that we've seen out there. So
I don't
just
think,
a reminder,
I don't think anyone said.
They're professionals. This is what they do. They take time off.
Professionals at something.
My point is, we see this on TV all the time. And even with the luxury of replay, it's really difficult to tell sometimes. Some of these plays are so close.
for our unofficial sign guys scoring. I don't know how that one's going to get booked, but it's back to the top of the order for Aruba. 1-0 count to Feliciano. And there goes the runner. No throw at second, and Waiterford advances with a stolen base.
Yeah, like I said, at this point of the game, whether he was safe or out, it was worth the challenge by the coach. And the fact that he's safe, you know, you only got 4 more outs in this game. Every base runner, every out is so crucial. The fact that he's able to steal a base right there, get himself in scoring position, in a 2-0 count, top of the lineup.
2-0 pitch. Hits the batter, Feliciano.
They called the balk, too, on the hit batter, so they have a choice.
Okay, yeah, so they I think here are going to have the option to keep the batter in the batter's box and advance the runner to third.
That's a painful no pitch right there if he decides to stay in the box.
Yeah, if Feliciano's got to continue the AB, that is
the worst case scenario right there. The best case is you get the chance to hit again, but you also have to wear one in the middle of the back in order to get a chance to hit again. Yeah, that's a painful spot to get hit. That's kind of right on that lower back, the belt, top of the hip bone right there. That one stings a little bit. And they always tell you, especially when you get older, don't rub it. It doesn't hurt. And I always debated. Whoever told me that, I'm like, I don't care what pitch it is. Curveball, changeup, that's a heavy ball coming in there. It hurts.
So again, the Aruban team has a choice here because of the balk called, and here's another look.
Yeah, they called the balk on this. I'm a little bit unsure. I'd have to see it again. I think
maybe it didn't come fully set is what it looked like based on.
I think what the umpire was actually telling him is he double set.
Okay.
Which he came kind of set at the belt and then he went up like this.
Yep.
It's not something you see very often, but I think he said he sets here and then he sets here because he does come to a complete stop. It's clearly a complete stop.
Yeah.
It's not something you see called very often, but it is the right call according to the rule book. Once you come set, you can no longer move your hands. I think they consider that a double set.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've got Feliciano, the hit batter, standing over at first, and Waiterford, who was at second and would advance to third on a balk. I don't know that this is.
So there is a rule with a balk.
Correct.
There is a rule with a balk that you can actually take the result of the play,
which would have been hit by pitch first and second, and the runner doesn't advance from second.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the advancement from second to third. I do know that you do have a choice. If a balk is called and say a hitter actually puts the ball in play and gets a hit, you can play it live. The fact that a pitch was delivered and he was hit by a pitch, it appears like the team is going to take the result of the pitch. Is the base runner awarded an extra base due to the balk? I'm not sure. I honestly am not sure.
Yeah, I think that's what Ilnam Lee, the manager for South Korea, is disputing here, because again, as it stands right now, there are base runners at first and third for Aruba, which kind of gives them both results. And now Feliciano is jogging back in for the offensive conference. Okay.
Well, can the catcher go back and pitch is the question at this point.
So now we've got a meeting on the mound for South Korea. And it does look like Aruba's going to have those runners at first and third. There have been a lot of moving parts in this game. It's been really good, really competitive. And it looks like we're ready to resume with runners at first and third. Or maybe not quite yet.
I'm trying to read about it online right now because honestly I don't know the answer.
I mean, this is deep in the well of the
rule book. Yeah, this is deep in the well, and I'm
Nobody
trying to find it right now.
All right.
It says the hit batsman is forced the batter to first, but the runner on second is not forced to advance. So the balk penalty is enforced instead of the hit by pitch result.
All right, well,
so I think they got it right.
Both have been enforced here. The balk advances the runner from second to third, and the hit batter now Feliciana at first.
Yeah, it sounds like they almost treat it like two different events. The balk is enforced for the base runner, but the hit by pitch is enforced for the hitter.
Hard ball on the ground, and it's through the left side. Santos Garcia brings in one. Here comes another. ARUBA has taken the lead.
Wow, what an exciting play right there. To think we thought this inning was over, and it all started with a challenge at first base, but a tremendous job by ARUBA staying in the moment. Gets a breaking ball out over the plate, hits the ball extremely hard by the third baseman. Once again, this runner from first base never really breaks stride. And a really good job by the third base coach there. He keeps his eyes on the left fielder the entire time. He doesn't come up and make a play initially, which allows him the confidence to send this base runner home. But really good job, once again, by the trail runner not anticipating a play being made.
4-3, ARUBA leads, and that's strike one. And I'm with you. At first, I thought it was an advancement to second on the throw. But Anthony Santos Garcia never let up. By my scoring here, I've got it as a two-run double.
As it should be.
Either way, it's good for 2 runs, and it's good for a 1-run lead in the top of the 6th. And you're right.
They're going on the mound. We're seeing pitchers and catchers taking the gear off, swapping positions. And then there's just this one guy that does it in real life, like at the highest level of professional baseball, and is the only one. And not only is he the only one, he's arguably a top 5 at both, which makes him just an absolute unicorn of our sport.
Caden Frazier is the batter for ARUBA. He had that big double his last time up. ARUBA looking for some insurance before they defend in the bottom of the 7th.
Good adjustment right there by the middle infielders.
Shin to the plate, down and in, 1-0. That's just the 4th pitch Frazier has seen today, and this is his 3rd plate appearance.
Yeah, we saw the adjustment before the first pitch. We saw the short.
And it's fouled away by Moon, who's 1 for 1. He's walked, and he ran out an infield single.
Yeah, this is the type of guy you really need to make earn his way on, because if you give up a free pass, we know exactly what he's going to do when he goes over to first base.
Inside ball 4, Moon walks. So now a runner on for Kang-Yul Kim. 1 for 2, a single his first time up. Struck out more recently in the 5th. A touch outside, and it's 1-0. Moon goes for second. The throw down from Aarons, and it's not in time, so Moon safely steals second.
Great jump by Moon right there. Really good slide too, getting in there safe. We've seen the importance of getting guys into scoring position, especially with 2 outs.
It's a 2-0 hitters count for Kim here as well. And a called strike. Nice pitch by Feliciano. Moon barely getting back to the bag. Got caught off balance.
Yeah, Moon, if you're at second base right now, especially with a left-handed hitter, which gives the catcher a much easier throw to third base, you got to be extra careful right now. You are in scoring position.
It's on the ground, right side of the infield. Gloved at second, the throw's off target. South Korea has tied it.
Yeah, tough way for the second baseman to go. Has a really tough play to make right there. It's a really tough decision because it's going to be so close at first base. It's a really hard play to say, you know what? I don't have the best throwing angle at first base. I'm going to hold this. You understand you're 1 out away from. Really well executed by Aruba. Don't need to be too fine in that situation. You're not trying to get a hit. You're just trying to get the bunt down. Stay in the middle of the field, put it on the grass, and a really good job by South Korea. They ran kind of like a modified wheel play, except they didn't have anyone covering third base, but they were making sure that they got that out at first.
Infield is in with the runner at third, Jerson Herman. First pitch swinging, little cue shot to second. The throw home, not there in time, and Aruba leads by 1.
Very fortunate for the runner coming home right there. The play ended up being really close. You really need to make sure that you get down and slide right there. But the importance at this level of putting the ball in play, even though the infield was in, the fact that it was hit off the end of the bat, it was hit soft enough where it just got past the pitcher's reach. The second baseman has to make a really tough play right there. But really fortunate to be safe at home right there. I'm sure his coaches in the dugout are letting him know if that situation comes up again, make sure we're getting down.
Throw back to first. Herman is safe. Another attempt.
It's also hard too because of where how small foul territory is on the sides and how far the on-deck circle is. Typically in a situation like that, your guy on deck is close enough to home where he would be telling the runner, slide, slide. But since we don't have a lot of foul ground here, you have to make sure that guy on deck is in a safe spot.
Yeah, that's a good point. Puts a lot of onus on the base runner in that situation. I mean, you can only hear so much with a bunch of yelling coming from all directions, I'm sure.
It's just one of those things when you talk the game, and I know the coaches are going to talk to their players after the game, and as you get more experience, you start to just really understand situations. You know the infield is in. You know the ball was hit on the ground. When in doubt, you're always going to slide.
Taken upstairs, 1-1 the count to Jacel Hiron. Herman back again. There goes Herman. It's a line drive into left for a hit. Herman rounding second on his way to third. The throw was just off the bag enough. And now he's safe and receiving some coaching about not getting down on that play.
Yeah, I mean, very aggressive base running. He's running on the pitch. The ball is right in front of him. He has no one to tell him what to do. He has a decision to make at this point what I would do, since the pitcher is paying so much attention to the base runner. We have a 3-0 count. I've almost walked this guy, load the bases, make sure the infield comes in, have a force play at home. Because right now, his main focus needs to be throwing strikes.
Yep.
At a 3-0 count, if this guy steals and you throw a strike, you're probably going to put this guy on base anyway.
It's the 3-0. Herman takes and walks, and it does load the base paths with one away.
You could see the disappointment not only on the pitcher and the catcher's face right there. They thought they threw a pretty good pitch right here, but I do think it is for the better that they have the bases loaded. They're able to bring their infield in. They have a force out at home. And more importantly, the distraction of these base runners is no longer a thing. He could kind of just go out of the stretch. He could see the runner at third base. He could focus on throwing strikes.
Zion Gomez-Perez with the infield in and the bases loaded, watches outside for ball one. He's reached both times he's been up so far.
Yeah, he's had a really, really nice game. He's had a single, a walk, and he was outstanding on the mound. I think the only regret he has is if he was able to get one less pitch. Yeah, I think he would have been the guy getting that final out of that 7th inning. But the fact he threw 35 pitches, they had a really tough decision to make. You know, and if they are able to go on and win this game, he's able to come back the following day and still be able to pitch.
2-0 count, big swing. And he sends it foul. 2 balls, 1 strike.
That's a really nice job by Zion Gomez-Perez. He gets himself a 2-0 count, and a really nice job by the pitcher on the mound. 2-0, bases loaded, nowhere to put him, has confidence to throw a breaking ball right there.
2-1 from Shen. Ripped into right field, but gloved for the out. Tag up play at first is called safe. So the bases remain loaded. Herman, the runner at third, stayed put on the fly ball. So that's out number 2. And again, they were trying to make the short throw to first to get a double play, which would have retired the side. The call on the field is safe. That might be reviewed.
And equally as important to what happened at first base, we saw this situation a couple times with the runner at third base. We saw in the first inning, the runner at third base takes his lead, goes back late to tag, and isn't able to advance right there. Watch the runner at third base right here. Whether that ball's down or not down, his obligation is to go back to third base and tag.
Okay, so here we're going to get a wide look at it. Pay attention, third base, Herman.
He's jogging down like the ball's going to be over his head, that he's going to score.
If it gets down, you're coming in anyway.
And that's the thing. It's hard for the base runner at a young age to understand that I'm scoring regardless. I just need to kind of hang out by the bag. You even just keep your foot on the bag right there. If it drops, you walk home. If he catches it, you run home. But that was a really, really nice swing by Zion Perez, and a really tremendous play in right field, and a really heads-up play, understanding the situation. There's not a play at home. His best bet is to try to get this back runner at first base.
And this is the play.
Really strong throw.
And this is the play that's currently under review. Called on the field as safe.
From this view, he looks safe, unless he comes off the base and that orange base comes into play, but I believe that he's safe. Can't blame the guy, the first baseman, for trying. Sometimes you got to try to sell it.
Yeah. It is a really close play. And in fact, we called this, we saw this called by the official who is over toward the middle of the infield, because the first base umpire was needed to confirm out on the catch.
And that's a really good job by the umpires, really communicating right there. You know, there could have been a time the first base umpire just would have made a call to make a call, but he deferred to his guy at second base because you could tell he's making sure the out was reviewed.
And the sign guys say the base runner, Herman, is safe. 2 for 2 so far today, so they're feeling good. But this has been a lengthy review. Always important to note that the call on the field is safe. If they can't find anything that definitively says otherwise, then they'll keep it as is.
You could always tell by the language the umpires use when they come out and make a decision. If he comes out and says confirmed, it means they saw something that they could confirm it. If it says stands, there was nothing that convinced him in video, likely anticipating a bunt.
Pickoff throw back to second. South Korea has certainly utilized the pickoff move to their advantage. It's really kind of helped keep them in this game. Kim squares to bunt, pops it foul, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, during that review, we talked about how kind of the South Korean team was huddled around the mound, and typically in a situation like that, the pitcher on the mound, the catcher would be behind play, he'd be making sure his arm stays loose. But maybe they took that opportunity to kind of draw up that play, because that's not a traditional pickoff play. That's a timing play. The first baseman starts behind the runner, which allows the base runner to feel like I can get a bigger lead, and it was more than likely indicated by a drop of the glove by the catcher.
That's 0-2, and you mean just like a signal that
he's going to give a signal, and that means that the first baseman's running over. It's based off of timing, and the fact that the pitcher is never going to look at first base adds to the deception of the play. So he's looking in like he's getting a sign or he's getting ready to pitch. The catcher is going to either drop his glove or flash a sign, and that's basically telling him first baseman's there, go ahead and pick.
Yeah. Kim still squaring to bunt with 2 strikes. Reaches and pokes it into the air into center field, and it drops. Runner trying to advance from second, slides in safely. Good backup by the pitcher Feliciana. But now it's 2 in scoring position for South Korea.
Yeah, sometimes as a competitor, when you are asked to bunt and you're unable to get the bunt down, you have to pick yourself up and pick your team out. And he does a really good job fighting off a tough slider right there. Not only does he get the runner advanced to third base, he's able to get himself into scoring position as well.
A step off of the rubber. Good detection by Feliciano there. That was a massive lead by the trail runner, Kim, at second. Now they're holding him. And it's a called strike against Ji-Hoon Shin. Infield is in. Shin pushes it into the air. It's caught for the out. A chance to get a double play on the tag up goes out into left field. South Korea scrambles and they've tied it at 5. Oh, that could have been a double play. Instead, it squirts away and Choi takes advantage to come in and score.
Really fortunate for South Korea right there, starting with the bunt. You could see how this bat, the top of the bat kind of gets angled below the ball, which causes the ball to go up in the air. A really great play by the first baseman, charging in, making a play. Has to really turn his body, try to make a throw. Sorry, that's the pitcher on the mound who makes a really nice play. Tries to double off the runner who was already committed to home. It was kind of this modified suicide squeeze a little bit, meaning the runner was committed going home, was anticipating the ball being put on the ground. South Korea is very fortunate right there to not be double up in that situation.
And now it's an intentional walk of the last batter in the order.
Typically, there's situations where you want to put a runner on. I don't know if they feel a little bit more confident about having forces at all the bases in a situation right now. Ideally, that runner at first base doesn't mean anything. The only runner that matters is the guy at second base, because that's the winning run.
And a chance at a double play that would get you out of this inning.
Double play. The force plays are, you know, a ground ball to third. He could step on the base, so you do understand that.
It is interesting, though, with the continuous batting order, though, to get into that top of the order and give leadoff batter Young-In Cho his 4th plate appearance of the game.
Looks like the middle infielders are going to play back, trying to get a double play. I think we're going to see the corners maybe start in a little bit. I think you're going to see, especially the third baseman, potentially hug the line a little bit more, trying to keep balls from going down the line.
Cho swipes it foul out of play after the called strike 1 on the first pitch. Now has to battle down 0-2. He's reached base a couple of times. Hit by pitch, a walk, and a strikeout in his 3 times up. Feliciano with 2 strikes. Spins it outside, trying to bait Cho, but he doesn't go.
I can't imagine, considering they use this continuous batting order, they play 7 innings. A lot of these kids have got a 4th at bat in the game before.
The 1-2, battled away. Up the middle, and it shoots off of the mound. Cho is ruled out at first, advancing runners to second and third.
This is a really close play and a really good recovery by the second baseman right here. And first look, I think he may be safe, but I think the team from Aruba is very fortunate, and I know that was painful for the pitcher. That ball hit off his shin right there, but I think his shin is the only reason this game is going on. I think if that ball goes by him, it gets into the outfield, and almost certainty that runner from second base was going to score. This part I'm a little bit confused about what they're discussing amongst. Either they're going to challenge it at first or they're not going to challenge it at first. Or maybe they don't have any challenges left.
And the ruling appears as if it's going to stand. So Young, the dugout, runners at second and third, with 2 away for South Korea. Kang-min Kim, the batter. Winning run is at third. First pitch swing. Game's had it all.
We've had close plays. We've had situations where you feel like the pitcher's not going to be able to get out of the situation. We've had, you know, cramps. We've had a guy where the pitcher wear the ball off the shin. We've had a collision in the outfield. I mean, what hasn't this game had?
So now some attention for Feliciano. And maybe another case of cramping here. Again, we are nearing 4 hours since the start of this game. It's gotten significantly hotter since the start.
Yeah, I wonder if this is cramping, where he's starting to kind of feel the effects of where that ball hit him on the lower leg.
So to catch you up, automatic runner starts at second base here in extra innings. And this is the tying run. Just getting back on that pop-up bunt that was thrown back to third. He could have easily been doubled up.
And you could tell his initial read was right. He didn't commit right away. He saw the ball in the air. He made the choice to continue to run. In that situation, you kind of just hold your ground. If the ball drops, you'll probably score pretty easily. If it's caught, you need to make sure you get back. He was very fortunate not to get doubled off right there.
Feliciano spins it outside. 1-1 the count to Kang-min Kim. 2 away. The runner at third scoring would win it. It's hard on the ground over the middle. A diving grab at shortstop. It won't be enough. And South Korea has won.
Wow. I feel like that was the perfect ending to this game. Really, really competitive game, and just a tremendous play by the shortstop, laying out up the middle. Just unfortunately, the batter was able to beat the throw down the line, but this game had so much action in it. You could tell both of these teams are exhausted. I know we're exhausted. This was a long game. This was almost 4 hours. The game got significantly hotter as the day went on. Both these teams played extremely hard.
And Kang Min Kim, the hero for South Korea, with a runner on third. Just put it in play and give yourself a shot.
Yeah, he does a really good job, putting a really good swing on it, and a tremendous job by the shortstop. Off the bat, I thought that was no doubt it was going to reach the outfield grass. He was going to get a chance to jog down the line, celebrate with his teammates. Shortstop comes up with a really nice play. Unfortunately, didn't have enough to get him out at first base, but a really well-played game. I think Aruba showed us a lot in this tournament. I know they lost this game. They're going to have to come back, play tomorrow, but I think we're going to see Aruba go deep into this tournament.
Quite an entertaining game. South Korea takes it in extra innings, 6-5 for Kevin Pillar. The rest of our